My pleasure to call to order this remedial action hearing. I have an opening statement related to the remedial action requirement for property located at 1395 Trans-Canada Highway in the village of Cache Creek. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, and it's being convened pursuant to Division 12 of the Community Charter. At this hearing, the village will present information related to the need for a remedial action requirement. After the presentation is complete, the property owner or their representative will be given an opportunity to speak. Following this, any member of the public who feels their interest may be affected by this matter may make presentation to council. Any questions or concerns by those viewing online must be typed in on the Facebook Live site. Beginning with the first and last names of the person making the submission, you may then give us the benefit of your views concerning proposed remedial action requirement. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following your presentation. However, the main function of council members during the question period is to listen to the views of the public. Everyone shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this meeting. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making their views heard. To maintain order during the hearing and to ensure everyone has a reasonable opportunity to be heard, the following rules of procedure have been established for hearings. Only the proposed remedial action requirement for 1395 Trans-Canada Highway is being considered at this hearing. Each speaker will be permitted to address the hearing twice. Initial presentations will not be limited, providing your comments are relevant to the issues at hand and the hearing is not being obstructed. After each person who wishes to speak has done so, a second opportunity to speak will be allowed. However, each speaker will be limited to 10 minutes. To begin your presentation, please state your first and last names for the record, and if you are for or against imposing a remedial action requirement on the property located at 1395 Trans-Canada Highway. Your name and comments will be recorded in the minutes of this meeting and any reports generated from this meeting. Please observe these rules. If you have any concerns with the manner in which the hearing is being conducted, please direct your comments to the chair. If there are any online participants who wish to address this hearing, the Hub Online will read them out. Hub Online representative reads any submissions. Are there any?
Nope.
There will be a final call for comments 3 times, and council will deliberate the remedial action requirement. So, are any members of council that feel they have a conflict of interest in this matter? Seeing none, there's a staff presentation, CAO Co-Chair, to present regarding the remedial action requirement.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to speak. My presentation today concerns the property located at 1395 Trans-Canada Highway, owned by Ms. Harkness, and the proposed imposition of a remedial action requirement under the Community Charter. As CAO, I'll provide council with a full overview of the file, including its background, the actions taken so far by staff, and the current status of the file, and the recommendation we're bringing forward today that's in the agenda. For background, the history of this property is long and well documented. Starting in 2015, the original accessory structure was significantly damaged by flooding during the Lopez Creek flooding event that impacted quite a bit of the community. By 2018, the village had become aware of unpermitted reconstruction and expansion activities. The site inspection was completed by our building inspector, and a stop work order was posted on the property in October of 2018. Despite this, construction continued. By 2023, the structure had grown into a large 2-story building and was observed to be used as a residence. On March 14, 2023, a multi-agency inspection took place. That inspection revealed serious life safety concerns, including, but not limited to, unpermitted plumbing and electrical work, non-compliant stair access, posing a fall hazard, lack of safe egress from the upper floor, and the structure's location, kind of our big complaint with everything. The structure's location itself is within a floodplain and riparian area and near an unstable slope. As a result, a do not occupy order was posted on the structure that same day. So far, actions taken. Following the inspection, village staff engaged extensively with the property owner to support voluntary compliance. From April 2023 to November 2023, the village issued a series of 3 formal extensions to allow for deconstruction. On October 30th, 2023, Ms. Harkness submitted a written demolition plan with an alternative person to complete the work if needed, requesting an extension until September 1st, 2024, or just shy of a full calendar year, 11 months, to complete the work. In good faith, the village waived demolition fees and accepted the proposed schedule. Despite these efforts, no material progress has been made at the site to date. The structure remains standing and actively occupied in breach of the do not occupy order and the building bylaw. In the time since, we've received correspondence from Ms. Harkness and her son indicating various personal and legal challenges, but at the end of the day, the building continues to pose a real and immediate threat to life and safety. Currently on the site, to summarize the situation, the structure sits within a designated floodplain and riparian area, is partially supported by sandbags against an unstable slope, is not permitted and cannot be made compliant under current zoning regulations because of where it's physically located, contains serious building code violations, including unsafe construction, unapproved plumbing and electrical work, and does not have a legal occupancy permit. And despite orders against it, work continues to occur and we continue to see it occupied. As I mentioned, this building poses a life safety risk to its occupants, neighboring residents, and to village infrastructure. It also presents an environmental hazard to Lopez Creek and Cache Creek. Going into the legal framework, Council's authority to act is grounded under Division 12 of the Community Charter, specifically Section 72, which permits Council to order remedial action when a building is unsafe or contravenes provincial or municipal building bylaws. In this case, this structure meets both criteria. The recommendation, as was presented on the agenda, given the long history, the repeated failure to comply, and the ongoing hazards posed by the structure, staff are recommending that Council adopt the following resolutions. Declare that the structure at 1395 Trans-Canada Highway is unsafe and non-compliant with the Village of Cache Creek Building Bylaw number 781. Order the owner, Ms. Tammy Harkness, to remove the illegal structure in its entirety within 60 days of notice, and direct staff to notify the owner of this decision in accordance with the guidelines in the community charter. And finally, should the remedial action not be completed within the deadline, authorize the village to carry out the work and recover all costs by placing them on the tax roll of property. In closing, the village has shown considerable patience and fairness in this matter and has taken every reasonable administrative step that we can to support voluntary compliance. But unfortunately, we've seen no action take place at all. The situation now requires formal intervention from Council to address the risk to public safety, property, and the environment. And thank you for allowing me to do this presentation. That's everything.
Thank you, Administrator Pritchard. Are there any questions from council members to the staff? Seeing none, it's now an opportunity for the property owner or authorized representative to make a presentation.
Okay. My name is Corey Harkness, and I'm opposing, I believe, the remedial. And start off with good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Corey Harkness, and I'm here to speak on the matter of the structure located at 1395 East Trans-Canada Highway. I stand before you today, not just as a resident, but as someone who has endured 6 years of legal hardship, only recently found not guilty, and who has returned home to face what feels like punishment through enforcement rather than partnership. Let's get straight to the technicals. The village proposed a remedial action is rooted in a draft bylaw built on assumptions and incomplete data. According to the 2021 flood mitigation plan, the flood hazard map did not even factor in debris flow process from Lopez Creek. New assessments have only recently recognized that Lopez Creek is debris flow and dominated, but no updates have been reflected in the culvert infrastructure or hazard delineation. The flood plan limits, as shown in Schedule A of the new bylaw, are not established by legal survey. The bylaw itself admits that hazards haven't been mapped in all areas, yet despite this uncertainty, enforcement is proceeding based on generalized maps, not site-specific data. Meanwhile, the water impacting my shop is not coming from the culvert, it's emerging from the ravine above the property, out of the ground, which is not even accounted for in the flood plan model. We're talking about geological issues being labeled as flood issues. I also point out that the definition of habitable area in the bylaw is so vague, it could be applied to nearly any structure. It invites arbitrary enforcement, and that is exactly what I'm experiencing. Council, you've acknowledged through studies that the culverts are outdated and insufficient. No work has been done to improve them, no debris cleanup has been done on Lopez Street, and yet you're enforcing action on me, a private citizen who rebuilt after the 2015 flood and has tried to work with the system under extreme personal stress and hardship. I am requesting a halt on all demolition and remedial action, a third-party hydrological and geological survey to assess real risk on site, a temporary use permit to allow me time to relocate my belongings or bring the structure into compliance, and above all, fairness, because selective enforcement without upgraded infrastructure and incomplete data is not fair. Thank you for your time. I am prepared to provide further documentation or technical references if needed.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council for for Mr. Harkness? Councillor Dubois.
Is the structure currently being occupied?
No.
Nobody's living in it?
No one's living in it. We're in it on a daily basis, tidying up things and organizing tools and belongings.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council for the delegation, or if you want to call it a delegation? No other questions? Is there any public input related to this matter? Seeing none. For the first time, is there anyone wishing to make public comment about this matter? For the second time, anyone wishing to make public comment on this matter? For the third and final time, anyone wishing to make public comment on this matter? Seeing none, final comments from staff.
I have no further comments.
Thank you. There's an additional opportunity for the owner, occupant, or representative to make a statement. You're good the way you are. Now we'll have council deliberation of the proposed motion. I think the proposed motion is on page 47 of council agenda. This matter was, 55 pages long or 50 pages long or something.
The actual motion might be a little earlier in it.
Oh, it's not the order under Division 12, Part 3 of the Community Charter that I'm looking for?
Yes. Yep, you're right, it's further in it.
So, in this, on page 47, the Council of the Village, Cache Creek, pursuant to Division 12 of Part 3 of the Community Charter, resolves that the accessory building located at 1395 Trans-Canada Highway, Cache Creek, BC, legally described as Lot 1, Section 30, Township 21, Range 24, west of the 6th Meridian, Kamloops Division, Yale District, Plan 1733-2, PID 001-821-962. A is considered to be in and creates an unsafe condition, and B contravenes the Village of Cache Creek Building Regulation Bylaw number 781/2016, which is permitted under section 831 of the Community Charter. The owner of the land is hereby ordered to take the following remedial action within 60 days of the receipt of notice of this order. 1. Demolish and remove the accessory structure entirely from the property. And 2. Remove any remaining detritus from the building footprint that may remain. And be it further resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer of the Village of Cache Creek be and is hereby authorized, in default of such remedial measures being undertaken by the owners or occupiers, to carry out or have such work carried out and the expense charged to the owner or occupier, if unpaid on December 31st in the year in which the works is done, the expense shall be added to and form part of the taxes to be paid on real property as taxes in arrears or be collected as a debt. Is there a mover of that motion?
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, on the motion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So I now declare the remedial action requirement adjudication hearing closed. And we have another matter to come before this council, which is a zoning bylaw amendment.
You get to take the hot seat.
You sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Here,
a hot seat.
wherever you want.
That's the option.
We're here because of your horses.
Now, it's my pleasure to call to order the bylaw public hearing. The bylaw number 6-009, zoning amendment 2025. And I have another opening statement, believe it or not. The public hearing is being convened pursuant to section 891 of the 890 bracket 1 and a bracket of the Municipal Act in order to consider proposed Village Cache Creek zoning amendment bylaw number 6-009 2025. At this public hearing, the public is allowed to make presentations to council. All persons participating who believe their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaw. We'll first hear from those persons who have requested in writing to address council regarding this issue. We will then ask the general public participating in person or online if there's any person who wishes to speak on the proposed bylaw. Any questions or concerns by those viewing online must be typed in on the Facebook Live site, beginning with the first and last names of the person making the submission. You may then give us the benefit of your views concerning the proposed bylaw. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following your presentation. However, the main function of council meetings this evening is to listen to the views of the public. It's not the function of council at the public hearing to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with individual citizens. Everyone shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this meeting. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making their views heard. Any written question, comment, or concern about the proposed bylaw received prior to 12 noon Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 will be read out at the public hearing. Late submissions may be heard if council passes a motion to do so. To maintain order during the public hearing and to ensure everyone has a reasonable opportunity to be heard, the following rules of procedure have been established for public hearings. Only the Village of Cache Creek zoning amendment bylaw number 6-009-2025 is being considered at this meeting. Each speaker will be permitted to address the hearing twice. Initial presentations will not be limited, providing your comments are relevant to the issues at hand and the hearing is not being obstructed. After each person who wishes to speak has done so, a second opportunity to speak will be allowed. However, each speaker will be limited to 10 minutes. If further hearings are required, we will reconvene additional hearings until each person has an opportunity to be heard. To begin your presentation, please state your first and last names for the record. Your name and comments will be recorded in the minutes of this meeting and any reports generated from this meeting. Please observe these rules. If you have any concerns with the manner in which the public hearing is conducted, please direct your comments to the chair. The corporate officer will now read out any written question, comment, or concern submitted by the deadline.
We received no comments.
Thank you. If there are any online participants who wish to address the public hearing, the Hub Online will now read them out.
I have no comments.
Thank you. So here we are at the public hearing. Does anyone have any comments related to the proposed bylaw?
To us.
Anybody? Anybody? I think you're the proponent of the change.
Yes, we are.
I put them in the chair because.
Yeah, no problem.
Because we like to.
Because it's the hot seat.
Yeah, and my understanding is the zoning amendment is in order to allow mini horses to be on the property that you're
Correct.
planning to live in up at the airport.
Yes, for us to be up there, Nancy needs to have her horses with us, so we've come up with a plan to have them secured, part of the building, so I'm buying lot 2 and we'll convert that into the residence, but on the main floor, we can take half of that and build stalls in there so they can be brought in at night. During the day, we can let them into a secure, it'll be kind of like a cougar-proof chain link, which has an area of 220 meters, and I can expand that because I also have the lease on lot 1, so we can expand that around. So it'll be around the back of the buildings, and when we're there, we can set up a portable fencing and allow them back up onto the grass within the fenced area, so we can keep an eye on them, and then if we're leaving, we can bring them into the more secure area.
Yeah.
But at no time will they be onto the airport proper.
Roaming on the runway.
No. Only if they have a pilot's license, which they don't.
Yeah, they don't have one of those things.
You're not training them for that?
How many mini horses are there?
There's 3, but there's
3.
only one that's younger and active.
Oh yeah, challenging.
No, just
No.
the other 2 are older. One has a medical issue. He doesn't do much, and the other one's old. So they don't go very far.
Okay, I got you. Are there any comments from the public for the first time? Any comments from the public?
Yeah, I ask a question.
Sure, of course.
You know me and my love of animals. Do you have a contingency plan when there's special events up there, like the drag races that are really noisy?
Yes. First of all, nothing bothers them. Right now where they are, they're right by where the trains go and the
they
whistle.
blow the whistle and the horns, so they're right
Okay.
beside it, so.
They don't
They're not,
react.
they don't react to the noise, so.
And I have other places if it gets to that point too. We have
Yes,
trailer,
noisy.
they can go on a vacation.
Or they can be brought into the building too, so they'll be.
Councillor Dubois.
A couple of questions. First one, on the application, it indicates you're requesting up to 4, but you currently have 3. Are there plans to add an additional, or is that just?
No.
Uh,
There may be a plan, but it ain't happening.
No.
Okay.
Know your limit, rescue within it, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and then this next question would be for staff. would this zoning extend to further occupants of the property if and when it was to be transferred?
So with any zoning amendment, that specific site within the airport would have that zoning in perpetuity. So that change would stay there. If current owners were to sell, or if it was to change in the future, that one spot. We were careful with the way that it was worded to ensure that it was the specific sites that it applied to, and not say suddenly now that's allowed in the whole airport. We were careful with how we worded it for that, so that it wasn't like, because we have 4 hangar spaces out there, it's just the ones applicable for the applicants that it's for.
Councillor Dubois.
Is the fencing included in any building permit applications that we currently have on file?
We don't have any fencing. You don't need a permit for fencing.
Okay, so it's not part of any current building applications?
No.
Any other council members with questions or comments? You're not a council member.
No.
I don't recognize you.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I've got enough to do.
You're more than welcome. For the first time, is there anyone who wishes to make any further representations? I see you.
Randy Lynn, Vice President of the South Cariboo Sportsmen's Association. Just wondering, the pen that you're proposing for them to be outside your dwelling there, is it, that pen, is it going to be to the west of your dwelling?
West, yeah, it'll be,
to the west,
it'll
okay.
be partially along the side so that they can come out of the building into it, and then along the back of the building.
Oh, yeah. So kind of
Like an
almost up the
L
hill a
shape.
little bit.
Yeah, and then we can let them out in a temporary fencing, just so when we're there, they can go graze in that grass area,
Yeah.
and then we can bring them in if we're
Okay,
ready.
yeah. Just
That's
asking.
the
like,
plan anyway.
Yeah, just asking because, as you know, there's a shooting range up there.
Yeah.
And we do get a lot of cattle up there because Ashcroft Ranch brings their cattle up there.
Right.
And we're very careful around them and whatnot. So just wondering about if we should notify our members that there may be
A horse.
a check.
Oh, yeah, no,
horses
they're,
up there.
yeah, they won't get out.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Okay, thank you. For the second time, is there anyone who wishes to make further representations? For the third and final time, is there anyone who wishes to make further representations? Seeing none, there being no further speakers, I declare the public hearing closed, and we convene the council meeting, regular Cache Creek Council meeting, August the 5th. There being no delegations, we have minutes of the July 7th meeting. Could I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, opposed, carried. July 7th, regular council meeting, could I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, opposed, carried. There having been no delegations, is there any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none, committee reports, economic development, Councillor Dubois.
Nothing at this time?
Budget and administrative services, I don't have anything either. Bylaw and policy review, Councillor Ranta.
Item number 1, bylaw 6-009 zoning amendment 2025. I move the council give second and third readings to bylaw number 6-009 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Councillor Dubois.
I did notice in the map that they provided, there was a distance to an existing well. Is there any regulation in regards to having animals within the?
Yes,
same
yes, there
distance?
is, and we're outside of that. So it's gotta be, the well's gotta be at least 100 feet away from the corner of the property, and we're 104 feet, so.
He's ready to answer your question.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, and it's 100 feet. He didn't lie to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the motion then to give second and third reading to bylaw 6-009 2025, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. No, I just need to find the rest of my agenda. There it is.
Too many different things,
So
eh?
many
Yeah, there's
papers,
quite a
yeah.
few here. We have the,
Or you can stay.
yeah,
You're welcome to
Please,
stay.
please.
you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the night if you want.
Thank you very much
Have
for
a good night.
considering.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
See you guys.
Was it something we said?
On to item number 2, emergency instrument issuance policy draft, pages 19 to 21. There's a recommendation.
Okay, so I move that council adopt the emergency instrument issuance policy as presented.
Second.
Discussion, Councillor Peters.
I just, when I saw this on I always look at the agenda first and then I look at the papers after. When I saw emergency instrument issuance, an instrument to me is, my pen is an instrument, right? And so I found that a little bit confusing, but that's other than the title, I'm good with the
Good. Any further discussion? Yeah, Administrator Couture.
Just a little bit of background for this one. It's with the new changes to EGMA, the Emergency Management Act. There's a lot of new rules, and municipalities are supposed to have one of these policies in place before we activate any sort of these emergency powers that are listed here. The province has been very lenient with it, understanding that nobody really knows what we're supposed to have. And this is, we borrowed information from another municipality that had, or actually a regional district, that had done the legwork and figured out the answer to all of these questions. And they were happy to share it and show us what needs to be what. So we're one of few that have this in front of a council. But I imagine probably over the course of the next calendar year, everybody's going to be adopting something to this effect. And it's fairly simple and straightforward, and each of those is essentially right out of what the legislation is saying. We're not putting our own spin on it. It's just clarification really for everyone that these are the different either individuals or groups that have the authority to do certain things.
Thank you. Anything further on the emergency instrument issuance policy draft? On the motion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Official community plan zoning bylaw update, council engagement summary. I would ask for a motion that we receive and file the council engagement summary.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Official community plan zoning bylaw update, what we heard report. There's a recommendation that council release the official community plan zoning bylaw update, what we heard report for distribution to the public, and I would so move.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did read this. In the one part I did see that some of the community members are complaining about downtown being cleaned up.
Yeah.
I'd like to add to that and maybe mention that some of the properties in town should be cleaned up as well. It's not just downtown that people look at,
Right, yeah.
it's the whole town.
Okay, thank you. Did you have something, Councillor Ramsey?
Yes, I raised my hand because that's something I noticed on page 26 of the report, which is page 85 of the agenda. There's a mistake, I believe, in the portrayal of the school enrollment. And I would just like that confirmed. I think maybe it's correct, but it doesn't look correct to me. So I think it's just slightly mixed up. I think it should read that 60% of school enrollment comes from other communities, not goes to other communities.
Mm-hmm.
And, on the same page, I believe, there's a mention of Sage Road. I think it's probably supposed to be Stage Road, that's under zoning. Both, like item number 3, additional feedback from Mayor Ranta. I'm pretty sure he probably was referring to Stage Road, so there's some T missing there. And, yeah. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Ranta. I'm sure that the administrator will make the necessary changes there. Anything further on the official community plan zoning bylaw?
What we heard report.
What we heard report for distribution to the public, that's what we're debating. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. Public Works, Councillor Diebert.
Nothing new to report this.
Thank you. Healthcare and Protective Services.
Mayor Ranta,
Oh, yes.
may I ask a question?
Yes, you can always ask a question, Councillor Peters.
Have we, is a final decision been made on, Public Works 1, or is that a closed item? Or?
It has been made. The probationary period for our public works foreman is technically not quite done yet, but we're very happy with what we've seen. Jordan Cummings has taken over the role as public works foreman. And then we've also posted his position as wastewater treatment operator level 2, or wastewater treatment plant operator 2. All the names changed recently. And we've received resumes, and I'm planning to be going through that in the next couple of weeks. We had a few, I think there was a total of 5 qualified applicants in the sea of, I feel like it was 60 to 80 applicants. There was about 5 that actually met the criteria, so, and had the necessary tickets, so, yeah.
Thank you. Anything further?
Thank you.
On then to Healthcare and Protective Services, Councillor Ranta.
Okay, so, the item number 1 about the, regarding the changes to maternity care at Royal Island Hospital, when I saw this, announcement, it was alarming to me, and so I asked for it to be on the agenda. And, I've been aware in the last year of 2 professional people who would not take employment in our area because of the maternity care in Kamloops. And I think this issue is not only impacting individuals that are expecting babies, but it's also impacting our economic viability, because to find employees can be a challenge. Even right now, when we're advertising for a specialized public works employee, if they have a family underway and may face these kinds of changes, interruptions to service, I think that council needs to say something about this notice. And although we can't obviously control healthcare, and it's really not our mandate to get involved in managing healthcare, I think that the impact on communities in the surrounding area is very much bigger than Interior Health would realize. I know the provincial government is having a great deal of challenges with healthcare in BC. That's a common theme that we hear about. Many people commented when I posted this on Facebook and said that the healthcare system is broken. I mean, it's very heartbreaking to hear the difficulties that this is causing for many different individuals, not just individuals that are planning families. So I think that it would be important or possible I would move that council writing a letter to Interior Health and copy it to local municipalities and also the Minister of Health, stating our disappointment in the level of maternity care in our local area, and that we feel that this is an economic impediment to our progress as a community.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Administrator Couture.
I apologize, I didn't look up looking for the seconder.
It was me.
Thank you. And I saw that it was carried unanimous, I just didn't see who seconded it. Thank you.
Good to go then?
Yeah.
On to emergency management, Councillor Peters.
Nothing at this time.
Parks and Recreation, Councillor Ranta.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Landfill Advisory.
Miranda.
What?
I would just like to take this moment to publicize, once again, these events that are happening at the park. They're being run by 3 local students employed through the Visitor Information Center on student grants this year. And I've been to 2 of 3 of the events. I've been to tie-dyeing and keychain making with 2 young ladies, and they had a wonderful time. There's snacks and juice, and the kids that are there have a really good time. And there's still opportunity. You just have to register with the Visitor Information Center, so visit Cache Creek at Gmail. And there's no charge for it. It's free to go. And August 13th is a scavenger hunt, and August 27th is a horseshoe tournament. And this is an opportunity for those that always complain that there's nothing for the kids to do, to actually take their children down or have someone take their children down and have a fun day.
Thank you. Okay, on to Landfill Advisory Committee. There is the post-closure care cost statement for the period June 30th, ending June 30th, 2025. I would move that council receive and file the post-closure care cost statement for the period ending June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the statement of annual royalties. There's a statement of annual royalties for the second quarter of 2025. And I would move that council receive the 2025 second quarter statement of annual royalties.
Second.
Any discussion? Councillor Dubois?
I'm just looking at the amounts that's there. I'm wondering how that aligns with what our budget numbers are. Is that in line, higher, lower?
Right now, it's still kind of aligned with the budget. I'll know probably more towards the end of the year if we have any variance, but, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the motion to receive the 2025 second quarter statement of annual royalties, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. TNRD and Intergovernmental Relations Liaison. I have nothing to report. There's only one meeting in July and one meeting in August during the summertime. The Cache Creek Community Fund, Councillor Dubois.
Yes, I'd like to make a recommendation that council donate $200 to the Ashcroft District Fall Fair.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Now we have staff reports, strategic priorities, fund application, water infrastructure renewal, and critical valve replacement. There are recommendations here. That council support the submission of an application to the Strategic Priorities Fund under the Canada Community Building Fund for the critical water valve replacement project as the first phase of a broader infrastructure renewal strategy, and that council direct staff to develop an implementation plan, including a communication strategy to inform residents of the changes. I would ask for a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Councillor Dubois.
I'd like to say that this is a super critical project for our municipality. This is an opportunity to get some significant dollars to really make a excellent start on a lot of the work that we need to do to align our priorities and get our infrastructure up to date that we know is at close to end of life and failing in many respects. So I think it's super important that we as a council support this and show that we want to go forward with this project.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Peters?
Yeah, I just wanna back up what Councilor Dubois said. We can do all the speaking we like about residents conserving water, but until we fix our underground infrastructure, we're kind of hypocrites, and I think that this is a tremendous step forward.
Thank you. Administrator Kutcher.
I have some comments on the actual point, but taking a step back, I think that one of your pages got mixed up there, because you were right to move to another page for a motion, but you actually took the motion from the top of the next page.
There's
is
some
that-
recommendations
Yeah.
missing.
Recommendation, one recommendation.
It's just too many it's too
One,
much
two,
paperwork
three.
today.
Oh, here it is. It's on the other side.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about
I know,
that.
I was trying to figure out what he was reading, and I'm scrolling down to see if
I
there
was
was
listening
something.
to what you're
Well,
saying.
I had the right page, but I had it upside down. I'll just go with the recommendation 2. The council acknowledge I guess we can vote on the first one first.
Yeah, you could go with recommendation 1 as it is on
Yeah.
the document, if everyone's okay with that.
Okay. On the recommendation 1, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And now I'll read recommendation 2.
Perfect.
The council acknowledged the deteriorating condition of the village's underground water infrastructure, and the council commit to increasing annual contributions to capital reserves for water and road infrastructure, and the council prioritize immediate action on known high-risk components, beginning with phased repairs and replacement using existing plans and assessments.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Councillor Ranta.
This came up at our, this year's budget conversation, and we didn't put any money into road infrastructure. So I'm just wondering, we didn't because we were unwilling to raise taxes past the level that we raised them. So by moving this motion, we're actually committing to raising taxes probably higher than what we were comfortable with this year, even though our knowledge and awareness of the need was, I would say, enhanced a little bit by this report, but in my mind anyway, I didn't feel that there was anything new that we hadn't already, number 1, known about, and number 2, that we hadn't already debated at a budget meeting. So I'm a little bit surprised that, and I'm not in any way displeased that we're looking at this. However, I think that if we were compared to other municipalities, especially those our size in Canada, that we are not alone with trying to struggle to pay for needed infrastructure, especially roads and water systems.
Councillor Dubois.
While I agree with what Councillor Renta is saying, I think the importance to recognize is that one of the key, and this is one of the things that we were talking at the precursor meeting to this as part of the economic development. We had some discussions with Ms. Chatton, and I think it's really important for council to recognize that for us to be successful, we have to really show our commitment to this to the point where I think we have to look at taking our reserves and rejigging them to the point where we actually put money into those reserves from existing other reserves, whether that comes from the legacy fund or whatever, but showing that we have these tangible, dedicated there, and that we have a very strong commitment to this. Because I think, as you mentioned, there's lots of other municipalities that are competing for this, but I think we have to show that, and this is what we're looking to do, is that we are going to put money into those reserves. Not saying that we have to raise taxes to do it, but we have to take money out of the other reserves and specifically target it for these types of applications. So I think it is really critical that we look at this. And while we're not necessarily saying that we're increasing taxes, but we are looking to shift how our reserves are allocated.
Thank you. Councillor Peters.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize the funding opportunity as well, and in order to make our applications, this is a pretty substantial 100% funding, which 100% funding is very few and far between these days. That will give us a good groundwork and a good starting point to be able to upgrade our infrastructure. And I understand the concerns about where the money will come from, but I think that we have to make a commitment. We can't continue to let our infrastructure deteriorate the way we have been. And it's going to save time in staff, it's gonna save time in repairs, it's gonna save time in a lot of other areas if we get our infrastructure back where it should be.
Thank you, Administrator Kutcher.
Just a little bit on the idea overall, that wasn't included in the report. We have been successful with the Strategic Priorities Fund application in the past. The most recent one was for our wastewater plant, specifically the centrifuge replacement that we're working on right now was an SPF project. And so we have been successful in the past, and our CDC had considerably long conversations with the funder, asking what kind of things we would need to have in place if we're looking at underground infrastructure. And these are almost verbatim, these recommendations, what they were looking for to see from us, to kind of put us ahead of the pack, because we're not the only ones asking for this. But if we have this, it gives us a leg up, because then we are also showing that we're putting our foot forward, and we're not just looking to the federal government to fund this. We also have a plan to fund something ourselves in the future, and we recognize this is a very good stepping off point. Yeah, that's essentially why the motions are worded the way that they are. And
Thank you, CFO Martini.
The other point that I would like to make is that pretty much when we make an application and we submit a budget for big project for which we request grants, by the time we start constructing and working on that project, the inflation kicks in, and there is absolutely every single time overage on the budget that we stacked up. So having a reserve on hand would allow us to cover for those overages that otherwise the grant would not cover for.
Thank you, Councillor Ranta.
Just in case there's any confusion with what I said, I am completely in favor of this. I have been in favor of this ever since I got elected, but I know that we've had other priorities with the flood recovery. So I wonder if in the application it would give us any leverage to mention that we have had additional costs like above a typical, community, like recovery costs, I guess you might call it.
Administrator Kutcher.
certainly, yes. And that is something that's planned. Knowing that the budget has been a little stressed for the past few years because of that. That's why it's simply saying we're going to work to do better, because we're kind of coming out of recovery. We're seeing the end of the tunnel. If we were a similar sized community that didn't have those challenges, they would expect to see like a physical, tangible plan in place, but we're kind of given a little bit of leeway because of that. That being said, we do have like an infrastructure replacement plan that was done a few years ago, but usually they would be looking at that and saying, that's from 2018 or 2019, why haven't you done much in it? And our answer is very simple, well, we've been flooding since then, so.
You're good.
Yeah.
Councillor Deaver.
This is pretty much my understanding of it was, this is step one, and they want several other steps taken. And the next one we'd have to more or less be financially responsible for. And possibly hopefully get a grant to help, but this is gonna saddle future councils also. And taxes are gonna have to go up. If they want sewer and water, the taxes have to go up. So people have to understand if we're gonna replace it infrastructure that's as old as I am, we gotta do something now.
Councillor Dubois.
I'd like to say I don't think Councillor Deaver is old.
It's not even gray yet.
How'd you manage that?
I don't know.
Okay,
His
on
wife is.
On recommendation number 2 then, I think it was moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, opposed, carried, thank you. Now we have the recommendation to amend the Animal Control and Licensing Bylaw 671, 2004. And there's a recommendation.
So,
Second for discussion.
Discussion on the recommendation. Councillor Peters.
I've watched the racers that we've had in Ashcroft and Cache Creek over the last little while. And in my mind, they're inhumane. They tether a pigeon to the top of a pole. It doesn't matter what the weather is. It was quite hot the day I was watching it in Ashcroft, and the thing is tethered there until all the pigeons come home that they can find. And if they don't find them all, they abandon them. And so, you know, it's, to me, I don't like the whole concept. I'm an animal advocate, and I find what they're doing to be inhumane.
Thank you. Any further discussion, Councillor Dubois?
I'm just wondering, why is this all of a sudden becoming a priority? So I can be honest, in the past, up until about 2 weeks ago, I've never heard anything about it happening in our community, and all of a sudden, it's coming to council, and so I'm just kind of wondering has been the impetus.
Administrator Co-Chair.
Yes, like, there has been instances of it prior, but it wasn't very visible. But not many of them, like, I recall one other time that something like it occurred. But just recently, in the last couple of weeks, there was a fairly visible event. People were going out and about the community. They were collecting birds after the fact. We received numerous calls to the office when we reopened about people trespassing in order to get their birds back. Sorry, that's the fire department. 7 p.m. till. So it was brought to light then, and we received a decent amount of complaints here. But secondary to that, there's been an ongoing series of issues throughout British Columbia. I think that there's just over 10 or so communities that have put in similar bylaws or changes to bylaws. Recently, I believe that there was something in Ashcroft. There was also some in Logan Lake where the residents of the community actually forced the participants out of the community. And communities have been making these kind of changes to animal control bylaws kind of as they've seen it happen in their community, because it seems that they're kind of going up the Fraser Canyon into communities nearby, that sort of thing. And so we're next on the docket. And from what we've seen, places that prohibit it via bylaw, as soon as they're informed, they move on. So it's a simple, you can't do this here, it isn't acceptable, and they're just like, okay, and they carry on their way and do something somewhere else. So there apparently have been pushes for at a provincial level taking action, but the province recognizes it's very much in the purview of municipalities because it's animal control. There's some other legislative bodies, like say Interior Health and that sort of thing, that there's concerns about health risks like avian influenza being transferred, that sort of thing, but no other government bodies have made any sort of legislation for it at this time.
Thank you, Councillor Dubois.
What about something like somebody who wants to keep homing pigeons or something like that? Is that different than what we're contemplating here? Or would that be something that would be included in this discussion? Because I'm not quite sure where the line is, I don't know enough.
Yeah, if my understanding is that would be allowed. We're more so looking at nuisance behaviors or things that are harmful to animals. I believe that there was some language being discussed about rewards-based training rather than fear-based training and things like that. The SPCA has some guidelines on bylaw writing for this, and it seems to really hone in on the racing as a sport, not so much for recreation or training or work, things like that. Yeah.
Councillor Dubois.
And final question, is this, you saying it's coming up the valley, is this people that are living in the community, or are they just coming here to do events?
I've heard some people state that they've seen some community members participate, but it seems primarily to be people that are from outside of the community, people coming from the Lower Mainland, participating in a day, for a day, and then returning home.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion for the recommendation. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. Now we have the bylaw officer April to June quarterly report. There's a recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. The next item is transition to one-time dog licensing system. There's a recommendation, which is a double-barreled one, part of which I read out earlier.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Administrator Co-Chair.
This one, definitely, just so everyone knows, it came forward from staff. It's something that's been asked by residents for a decent length of time. Our bylaw enforcement officer is in the process of looking at a similar transition in Clinton and Ashcroft. I believe that Clinton has already completed it, and there's still discussions in Ashcroft. I'm not, or you guys, you went on board, so there you go. 2 out of 3 of the intercommunity group are already doing a similar format. Just from what we've noticed in the office, like dog licensing is not something that we make money on by any means. Licensing for a neutered pet is $15 a year. Transitioning to a slightly higher fee, but a one-time fee, and then people would have the option to get new tags if their tag has been damaged or worn or whatever it happens to be. We would keep a very similar system to what we have now, because essentially it's just proof that the person has the animal. We have documentation that they have said animal, and if they're found in the street, we can contact the appropriate owner. So really it's, we only end up in a situation like that a couple times a year, where we'll get a phone call through the emergency line saying, I found this animal with a Cache Creek dog license. We look it up, figure out who it is, and it's solved within the day. So I do think that it is a valuable service, but it also is good on the back end. If there's an issue with the dog, we know who to address the complaint to. So it's definitely still necessary, but do we need to do it every year? It just kind of seems like we're doing administration for the sake of doing administration. So.
Thank you. Councillor Peters.
Yeah, and having to order different tags every year with different colors and different shapes and different, the cost must, I don't know what the cost is, but.
It's not much, but it's still.
And then how many tags do you have left over every year though?
Yeah.
It's usually about 10.
Yeah. So my understanding is this would be the same tag forever and ever on it. And
Yeah.
it would cut costs. And I know that even having like licensing my dogs, it takes a good at least 5 minutes to fill out the forms, and it's staff time when you figure out how many dogs there are in the community.
Because we usually have around 100 registered dogs a year. We order 100 tags every year, and we're just shy, like I think either last year or the year before, we got up to like 95 or something like that. Like we were very close to reaching 100, but we didn't. So we get close to that number every year. Seems to be a pretty stable number. But we could change the tag, like change the quality of the tag, because the ones that are there now are designed to last around a year, because they're very thin aluminum. So we could just simply, when it's time to initiate this plan, order a better quality tag that should last a few years, and then people can just do like a whatever makes sense tag exchange for like $5 or something, whatever it works out to be.
Yeah, I guess my only concern is that the increase from where we are now to $40 lifetime may cause people to say, oh, that's too much, I'm not gonna license my dog. And so we may see a drop in the number of licensed dogs in the community, which I think would be unfortunate as a result of this change. On the recommendation, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. On to 959 Trans-Canada Highway sign permit. There's a recommendation that we approve the application for new signage.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those,
Looks like they're taking the restaurant.
all those in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. Seasonal hazard summary. I would move that we receive and file the report on emergency hazards in the province in the last month.
So moved.
Discussion?
He moved, he seconded.
Yes.
Any discussion? No.
I'm voting already.
Administrative.
Oh, you have discussion, okay.
I just wanted to, since it makes sense to kind of tie in with the seasonal hazard summary, just for council information, during our recent rainstorm that we had, there were reports of different things throughout the community, no major issues with any of our utilities or critical infrastructure or anything like that, which is nice. But there was like significant flooding adjacent to the Otter Co-op on Old Caribou Road. There was a full landslide that was dealt with by staff over the weekend. They dealt with it rather quickly though. So, but yeah, other than that, everything was good.
Thank you, Councillor Dumont.
Do we have any sense of why that's happening and what we can do to protect it in the future?
I believe, so anytime that we have rain, anytime at all, we always see some form of something coming down Old Caribou Road, just based on the type of material, like the slate material that it is. Anytime it gets wet, something comes down the hill. So anytime we have even like a low amount of rain, it's very common for Public Works to go and clear rocks and that sort of thing, either if it's overnight, first thing in the morning, or if it's on the weekend, they're doing it on the weekend, that sort of thing. This specifically, it was a pretty significant rain event. And I think it was just the volume of the rain had more impact on it than it would previous, because it appeared, again, untrained eye, it looked like it had, I don't think it was a single sudden event. I think it was a lot of stuff just coming down and continuously going and piling on it. And it covered the only storm drain on that street. The material covered that storm drain, so it couldn't drain. The good news is though that the two culverts that are along Old Caribou Road, one by 1055 Old Caribou Road, like near the post office, and then a little bit further north between all the trailer parks on the northern side of it, they all did exactly as it was supposed to and conveyed water quite well. So.
Councillor Dubois.
Do we need to look at putting any signage in there to warn of a hazard for falling rocks, etc., given that this is something that when there is weather events, that just from a risk management point of view,
That's a good idea.
something we're aware of?
That's a good idea.
And to the point, if we know that there is going to be significant rain events, we activate some type of closure.
The trouble with closure is then all those houses, that's one way in, one way out. I think it would be one thing to warn people, but if we close it, like on the Otter Co-op side, it might be possible, but on the northern side, we might be causing some issues.
Or close to local,
Local traffic only.
something, yeah.
Thank you. On the seasonal hazard summary then, Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. MIABC Property Claim Status Report. I would ask for a motion that we receive and file the report.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. June and July payments made by the village office. I would ask for a motion that we receive and file the report for June and July payments.
So moved.
We were waiting for you.
It's about to be both.
Is there, no second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. We have, information correspondence. I would move that we receive and file the items in information correspondence.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Is there any new business?
I have a couple of items that were brought to my attention. The parking along the access road to Tim Hortons on the yellow curving. We could get some signs put up there that there should be no parking. Apparently, police don't like going there above it. But that is no parking on that yellow curve. And there's no signage.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be taken care of. There's quite a few accidents over there lately, apparently. Another item was a park. I think I'll just push that to our next meeting. We'll get the information, the photos. The invasive species program that was offered by the TNRD. Is there any reason why we didn't become part of that?
Previous council felt that the cost didn't,
What's the cost?
I don't remember now, but 5,000. 5,000.
Yeah, around 5,000 a year or something to that effect. And I think it's education. I looked into it since we started talking about the, since we started talking about the Russian elms and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the program is specific in what it funds. It seems to be more informational, unless you have very specific species. Certain species, they do cover remediation, but the species that we had previously been discussing were not covered by that. Like the Russian elm, as an example, is not covered, so you can't do it. But there's certain species, like I think the tree of heaven, that other communities have had issues with, I think is like 100% coverage. You submit receipts and you'll get reimbursed through the program. So there's definitely a benefit in that case. But the species of concern that were identified previously.
Arantza?
Yeah.
Would it be possible that we have a discussion with the TNRD to include the Russian elm as a species of risk, no different than the tree of life? I think it would probably fall into the same category.
Possibly, yeah. Just an idea, if it looks like to participate in the program, it would cost around $5,000, let's just say. It could be that we start a program independently as well, that we identify certain things that are an issue, and if people submit receipts to us, we reimburse up to X amount, or I don't know, just throwing out ideas. Just knowing how it can sometimes take a long time for those kind of processes to go through other government might be something to consider if there's a budget every year or something to that effect.
The other thing is there's burdock in there as well, down at the park. Everybody likes to go swimming, and that will spread. And it's also an invasive species, which is bad for cattle and pets and so forth.
Uh-huh.
If we could look into just doing our own thing, would be nice. But I spend a lot of time traveling on the highways, and it would be nice if the TNRD would look at maybe pushing highways to clean up some of these Russian elms and stuff that are growing along the highway. If Because there is a lot of them. And they're spreading that.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Any other new business?
I just
Councillor
have a
Peters?
question, have we been approached or approached, anyone on ministers' meetings for UBCM?
There were no requests, to approach any ministers for UBCM. On council.
Thank you. Any other new business?
I did. There was discussion in one of our meetings where we kind of spitballed a few.
If I recall,
We were supposed to do submissions.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, cause there was certainly conversation about it.
Yeah.
But then the direction from that was, council was going to bring forward things for me and, didn't receive any.
Any other new business? Seeing none, questions from the public? Yes.
I'm curious, why was the Harkness property subjected to an RAR when there are other properties in town that are just as bad or worse, including one that had an RAR placed on it years ago, namely the Oasis Plaza, which continues to decline and will be a serious hazard to the public as well as a well-documented eyesore.
Well, in the case of the Harkness property, they had a catastrophic failure of their building due to the, the 2015 flood. And they started rebuilding, but it was noted that the new building was not compliant with the BC Building Code. And when you notice that, then you take action.
Well, I'm not arguing that it may be out of compliance, but there are several other properties around town that deserve your attention as well.
File a complaint and we'll address those.
I have.
Administrator Co-Chair.
We have been dealing with a few, properties consecutively. But specifically with this case, or with the Harkness property, it was brought forward to council, in the methodology that it goes through, but a big thing for us is occupancy. We know that the building in question is not safe to be used, based on the conditions that were observed within the property, during site inspections. And so there was a push by secondary staff, in a sense, looking at like building officials, Technical Safety BC, even our bylaw enforcement, looking at where it is, that building, there isn't a way to actually make that building compliant, where it is and where it exists. And the fact that we had asked multiple times for them to remedy the issue, and instead we were seeing continued use, because occupancy isn't, occupancy oftentimes, for the sake of like the building code, is defined as like as somewhere you sleep in. But occupancy, in this case for us, is use. So even today when there was discussion on continued daily use. Simply going into a structure that has a do not occupy on it is actually an offense. And so that's why to us, it was important to bring it forward. And it wasn't a quick process by any means. It was 2-3 years. That file's been on my desk the whole time I've been here. And it precludes me because the first inspection where they were said, don't continue to do this, was in 2018. So it's a long going file, but there certainly are other files that are important that we are working on.
The RCMP has said that they've had complaints about the Oasis and that it's definitely a hazard when their members fall through the floor. How can you get worse? It's not a secure building.
It's alleged to be secure.
That's not good enough.
No, nothing is good enough.
I think
Councillor
that,
Peters.
that there are also ongoing things that are not available to the public. It's not that they're being ignored, it's just there's no public facing information on it at this point in time.
Any other questions from the public?
I guess that'll have to do for now.
Thank you. Questions from the press?
Nothing today.
Thank you. We have need of a closed session pursuant to section 90.1 and 90.2 of the community charter. I would ask for a motion to that effect.
So,
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.